And today's star, by the way, super excited to have Kute Blackson live in studio. And another thing that excited me is when I was reading up about you, you call yourself a leading visionary and a facilitator of awakening global consciousness. Consciousness is one of my favorite words.
Consciousness.
It's so important. Good morning.
Good morning. Great to be here.
Yeah, how you doing?
I'm amazing. It's great to be in Nairobi, my first time in Kenya. So,
yeah.
I feel the pulse. Something's happening here.
Yeah, definitely. And so you got in last evening and I was asking, so what did you see? It's like the long lines at JKIA.
2 hours.
2 hours.
Honesty.
Welcome, imagine. That's just welcome, a warm welcome.
This is the immigration lines.
The immigration line.
Yeah.
Wow.
Well, when I saw this line, I thought, oh my God, this is going to be longer than the flight from Amsterdam to Nairobi.
It's a whole flight in itself. However, so, you know, obviously Team Adele and Team Shafi are hearing you for the first time. And I did say that if they wanted to be inspired for the rest of the year, they needed to wait for you to come. But what would you describe yourself as?
I'm a transformational coach.
Yeah.
I inspire people, I empower people, but ultimately I uncoach people, I unteach people, I uncondition people. I believe that ultimately when we're born whole, perfect, complete. If you look at a child, the child is in touch with magnificence. A child will jump on the table. It doesn't care if it's not Ed Sheeran or Bruno Mars. It just sings. But what happens, we get conditioned. And so really what I do is I create experiences and seminars and processes that help people uncondition themselves so that they can reconnect with the true, authentic essence and share their gifts with the world.
Yeah, that's super important because there's so many things that we've learned over time. We've been conditioned that we have to unlearn so that you can really let yourself just be, you know? But how did you arrive there? Because it's not easy to unlearn a lot of stuff. And
condition.
Yeah. So how did you first know that this is something that you want to do globally?
A couple of things. You know, when I was a kid, I always felt a deep calling. When I was 5, I felt this burning desire to help people, to impact people. It was a sense of like my life wasn't my life. But also what impacted me was I remember being 5 years old, about 6 years old. I was a chubby kid, lost in the crowd in Ghana, West Africa. I literally saw this crippled woman crawling on the floor. And she picks up the sand that this man walks on, wipes it on her face and stands up. This was a miracle. Week after week, I grew up seeing blind people see, deaf people hear, people stand up out of wheelchairs. I literally saw this man look at a woman in a wheelchair and say, stand up. Why are you in this wheelchair? And so this man was my father. He had 300 churches in Ghana, West Africa.
Wow.
He had a huge church in London, 5,000-6,000 people, hundreds of thousands of followers. I started speaking in my father's church when I was age 8. I was ordained at 14. I was given the mandate to take over my father's entire ministry. And my life was set out for me at 14. Hundreds of thousands of people had their hopes on me, but I knew in my heart this was not my truth. This was not my destiny. But I was too afraid to speak the truth. I was too afraid to tell the truth because I was afraid of losing my father's love. I was afraid that I'd be outcast. I was afraid that I'd be alone, that I'd be abandoned. And so I went along with his vision for my life for the longest time. So it took me literally 4 years from 14 to 18 to muster up the courage to have a conversation with my father and say, I love you, but I'm not taking over. And that was the beginning. But I was always obsessed with trying to understand who am I and why am I here and what's the purpose of life and why do some people who seem to have everything seem to be miserable? Why do some people who sometimes have nothing be fulfilled? And really, why are we here? Is it just to wake up, go to sleep, make babies, make some money and then die? Surely there has to be a bigger purpose, meaning to why we're alive as human beings. So this has been my life's quest.
What? Like you're churning out those ages.
What's that?
Ordained at 8.
No, ordained at 14. Started speaking at 8.
You know, when he's churning out these ages, I'm trying to think about what I was doing. At those ages, I'm just like, hey, we can't talk about that on air. I'll be embarrassed.
Let's talk about it. Come on.
I'll be embarrassing myself. However, guys, listen, clearly this is somebody with a lot to share with us. I really want to know how the convo with your dad went through because there's so many members of Team Adele, Team Shafi who are maybe even in campus. Do you know how many people are in campus doing and studying things for their folks?
Yes, not even for them. Because the parents are the ones paying the school fees. So you are there for them, not for you. So, and they are not 14. And they're not talking about 20, 18.
They're not 8. However, when we come back, I want to know more about that talk. How did that go down with your dad? If you have any questions for Kute Blackson, you need to send those our way on Twitter at Kiss100 Kenya. What? So we have Kute Blackson live in studio with us, and I know many people are like, okay, we're listening to his story and we want to know that where can we hang out with him in the 254? We'll get to that. Right now, though, we're at age 18. Okay, you want to have a convo with your dad to tell him, by the way, this path of life that you want me to take, I'm not feeling it.
Yes.
How did that conversation go?
Well, look, the reality was I was terrified. I thought if I followed my truth, I would be outcast. I'd be alone. I would lose love. And so I think so many of us, we deny our truth. We suppress our truth. We, I think the thing that keeps us stuck is all the ways we lie to ourselves. You know, we stay in relationships that aren't truly authentic, and we're not in love. We work jobs that really compromise our integrity. And for what, you know? And so I looked into my future and I saw I could be successful by everyone's standards. I could follow the path of my father. But if I have everything, but I don't have myself, what is that? And I felt the pain of my future. I looked into my future at 30, at 40, at 50, at 60, at 80. And I thought, wow, if I reach that point and I'm not following my truth, I'm just living a lie. And I realized you can't be truly happy. You can't be truly fulfilled living a lie, living someone else's life. And so I I mustered up the courage, sat my father down. And I was expecting the volcanic fireworks, right? And the mind often goes into the future, creates a negative future fantasy, and it creates all these fears about what's going to happen, and then that fear hijacks us in the present. And so I had this conversation with my dad, but here's the thing, I was prepared to lose my father because I realized if I don't have my life, what do I have? And nothing. So I sat my dad down. I put my hand on his shoulder. I looked him in the eyes. I'm ready for the volcano. I said, Dad, I'm not taking over your ministry. I'm not taking over your churches. This was the moment I became a man. This was the moment I grew up. And I think we have to be willing to disappoint people around us to follow our true soul's calling, you know? And he said nothing. That was even worse. He looked at me and he said, are you sure? Anyone silent.
And that sounds like a threat.
It was like, are you sure? But it was like a test, you know? And I said, yes, I'm sure. And I was afraid. And sometimes we think we have to have no fear in order to follow our dreams. I say, you will be afraid. If you are living life and you're not a little afraid, you're not a little nervous, probably the dreams you have are too small for what you are seeking to become. So fear is a part of growth. Fear is a part of life. You got to feel the fear and do it anyway. This is part of having courage, you know? So I said, I'm not taking over. He said, okay. We didn't speak for 2 years.
Whoa.
We didn't speak for 2 years, and I had a vision to go to the US. I had a vision to go to America because this is where all of the I read 800 books in self-help, personal growth, spirituality, just trying to understand life from 8 to 18. And all of the authors grew up lived in Los Angeles, Southern California.
So you wanted to see,
I wanted to go meet them. And so at this point, no money. I chose not to go to university, which was like, oh my goodness, it was like I was going to hell.
It was a blow.
But I figured, if I want to teach people about life, I have to learn about life, and life has more to teach me. So I chose not to go to university, no money, no father support, no college education. What do? I pray to God. I get this vision. Literally, cut long story short, I end up winning a green card in the lottery. And that's where I believe when you follow your truth, when you follow your authentic calling, your dreams, encoded in your dreams is also the seed for its fulfillment. And I believe that your dreams choose you. Your dreams choose you because you are the perfect person to fulfill the dream. So to me, that dream is not something you have to force. You just have to say yes to it. But we're afraid. We're often afraid. And so I said yes to it, and the life unfolded. I won a green card and came to the US. 2 suitcases, $1,000, knew no one in the country.
Okay. Wow, I hear your story. Yes.
It was called hustle. Hustle, tears, prayers, and
more hustle.
Faith.
So in the next 4 minutes, we catch up with the story, and I really want to know about the fear thing, because sometimes, you really want to go for something, and you have this fear, and then you end up giving up. What then? All right. Remember, we have Kute Blackson live in studio. Send through your questions, guys. His story is so inspiring on Twitter at Kiss100 Kenya. You are hanging out with me, Delon Yango and Shafi Waru, and we have Kute Blackson in studio at 25 to 10, and he's just riling us off. We're like, yes, we're going out and we're going to do things. Just telling us his life journey. So in case you've just joined us, at 18, sat your dad down, told him, by the way, this ministry option that you want me to take is not for me. And also this uni thing, it's also not for me. And then you don't talk to your dad for 2 years.
Packs his bags and leaves for the States with $1,000 and 2 suitcases.
Yeah.
After winning a lottery.
And then, the culture shock. And then it's a sea of human beings that you don't know.
Okay, it was challenging. Yeah. Sometimes people think when you follow your truth and when you follow your path, it's easy. But I think when you follow your truth and you follow your purpose and you're up to a vision that is bigger than yourself, you will have to stretch outside of your comfort zone. So I think if you want to grow, you have to be willing to go outside of your comfort zone.
Yeah.
But I think living in alignment with your truth is one of the fundamental keys to life. If there's anyone listening, I would invite you to sit with a few questions. Number one, what lies am I currently telling myself?
Yes.
And to be honest about what lies am I telling myself, because the lies cost you. Number two, what am I pretending to not know? Because we pretend. One of the things that keeps us stuck is we play this game of, I don't know. I'm not sure. I don't know. But deep down we do know. How many times have you been in a relationship and you're like, oh, I don't know if this person's right for me, if they're wrong for me. The moment you break up, you're like, I knew that person was. I knew it was never going to work. We do know. We have to be willing to trust our intuition.
Yeah.
And so then ask yourself, what are the lies I'm telling? What is it costing me?
Yeah.
And to feel the pain of what it's costing me. Because look, what I had to look at when I looked into my future, had the conversation with my father, I realized I could get to the end of my life. But the reality is, no matter what I accumulate, I take nothing with me. We will all die. You, me, Bruce Lee, Bob Marley. I mean, David Bowie, Jesus, Buddha. We will all die. It is guaranteed. The question is not, are you going to die? It's how are you going to live your life? And when we meet our maker, whatever you believe, when you meet God, you can't say to God, can you give me back those 2 years?
2 more weeks.
I wasted those 2 years in that job I hated. And so life is short. You take nothing with you other than who you become, and you leave nothing behind other than the love you gave. And so we've got to make the most of this glorious adventure.
That's so true. However, and I love that you say that when you start this journey, when you're living an authentic life, living your truth, everybody thinks it's like, and then it's smooth sailing.
It's challenging.
So during your, when you landed in the States, from when you landed to now, were there ever points that you felt, maybe I should just go back home?
A lot. A lot. When I landed in the US, we have this idyllic vision. The heavens will open. When I landed there, the taxi guy dropped me off. I knew no one. I was in Venice Beach. It was a culture shock. It was a crazy land. And I started crying for 2 weeks. I wanted to leave. I mean, I wanted to just turn, but when you burn the bridge and you commit fully, you can't go back. And one of the
There's
things
no bridge.
To be successful, you have to commit fully. And most of the times we're not committed. And so I cried for 2 weeks. After I got that over and done with, I figured, where am I going to go? Because my father was waiting for me to come back. And so I literally rented a room. My apartment was about the size of this small studio. And I pulled off a mattress off of the street that someone threw out, and I slept on the mattress. But as much as I wanted to go back, I knew in my heart I was following my truth, and that gave me peace. I thought I could die, but I'm dying living my truth. And you know what? If I'm living my truth, then I'm successful. And I felt a deep peace in that. But we can't go back. I think many times we want to give up just before our dreams manifest. Many times our dreams don't manifest, so we take that as, oh, we're cursed, or God doesn't love us, or things aren't working out. And the fact is, sometimes the timing's not right yet. It's just not the right timing. Sometimes we still need to grow and evolve and learn more and become more of the person who's capable of fulfilling that vision. So just because things aren't happening right now doesn't mean it's not going to happen. You have to trust.
I love that. And I also love, because there's so many people, just giving the example of the people who are in uni right now studying stuff that they really don't want to do, and they're doing it for their parents. But you always say, okay, I just need to hold tight for these 4 years, get that degree, and then give it to them, and then I can start living. But you're not really sure if you have those 4 years.
Look, the reality is the only guarantee is now. Tomorrow is not guaranteed. Next year is not guaranteed. I guarantee you all of those people in 9/11 in the US had no idea that they weren't going to come home that night, look their parents in the eyes, or look their loved ones in the eyes and say, I love you. Or the people in Southeast Asia tsunami, or some of the atrocities that happened around the world. No one knew they weren't coming home that night to look their kid in the eyes and say, I'm sorry. Tomorrow
it's not
a guarantee. The only moment is now. The only moment is now. So we have to live this moment fully, and it's what we do in this moment. It's the actions you take in this moment that will create your future. And so that's the key.
You only have now, and now you can send your questions. Queen is saying, oh my God, tell Kute Blackson to feel right at home, loving the conversation. I feel like everything you say It's so profound, my God. So you mentioned that you go around the world and you've worked with so many different clients, right? And finally you have an opportunity to actually inspire Kenyans.
Yes.
On a almost one-on-one basis this Thursday. So what's happening on Thursday?
Well, first, I'm honored to be in Kenya. It's my first time ever speaking in the African continent, and Kenya has called me, so I'm honored to be here. It's going to be called All Lights On. We're going to turn on your light inside to help you shine. I believe that every person has a gift. Every person is put on this planet for a purpose. But often, because of culture and society, we're often told, hey, you got to be this way. Hey, you got to fit in. You got to be that way. We're sold this lie that who you are essentially is not enough. And I don't know about in Kenya, but at least in the West, we're bombarded with the media. We're sold this lie. The biggest lie that we're sold is who you are is not enough. And if you just be something else, if you just, have this phone or wear this or do, then you'll finally be enough. And so often as children, we're often taught, why can't you just be normal? Why can't you just be like your sister? Why can't you just be like so-and-so? And so we disconnect from being who we are. And so really my intention this Thursday is to share some strategies, ideas, wisdoms, inspiration to help ignite people, to help people reconnect with who they are so that they can shine their light and give to the world. It's going to be a very powerful few hours.
Yes. So it's starting at what time?
6 p.m. sharp.
On Thursday.
On Thursday, this Thursday.
At
Brayburn Theatre.
And
we're going to just light things up.
So guys, if you want to get your tickets, and I love this, you go to alllightson.com.
Yes.
And once you register, you get a nice message from Kute Blackson.
Yes, a special email.
Yeah, special email from him. He wants to get to know you better, you who's coming to, hear him speak on Thursday. Again, it's alllightson.com.
And also, we have tickets for Timothy Altim Shafi.
Yeah.
We have 10 tickets. That is, it's your birthday.
Yeah.
And you're giving something out today.
Make it rain.
Yes.
So
you can tweet us.
Yeah. Just tweet us at Kids100 Kenya, at Tadelo, at Shafi Weru, at Nico PR. And we're going to make sure that the first 10 people to do so can get to listen to Kute Blackson live on Thursday. One thing, though, that I need you to also speak on before we let you go. Wish you could just have you the whole day. There's so much inspiration. My God. Is also about comparisons, right? Most of the time, especially with social media, you log on this morning and you see somebody on the hustle. I woke up like this.
Hashtag blessed.
Yeah.
Woke up looking like a supermodel.
Yeah. And you're there and you're struggling. You've been trying to look for a job for months on end. You're wondering, why does that person's life look so perfect? And I'm just here trying to figure mine and it's not working out. It's really disheartening.
Yeah. One of the killers to freedom, to happiness, is the constant comparison to other people. If you want to be free, you have to stop comparing yourself to other people. Everyone has their own journey in life. Everyone has their own path in life. Everyone has their own lessons that they need to learn in life, and everyone's journey is unique. Their journey is not your journey. Look at Mandela, look at Gandhi, look at Bob Marley. Everyone's journey is unique, and so I believe everyone's experiences are perfectly crafting them to become the person that they need to be. And so we have to trust our own unique journey. If you look at nature, you look at an apple tree, it's not comparing itself to a mango tree. A mango tree is not comparing itself to a banana tree. Each of these are unique, and they all have their own unique gifts. And so every person, we are all superior to someone in some way. We are all, have things to learn and less superior to other people in other ways. So we have to honor our own unique journeys and ask ourselves, rather than focusing out there, ask ourselves, what's my unique gift? What are my unique skills? What are the problems that I'm uniquely capable of solving? Because I believe success in life is in direct proportion to your ability to add value, and you can add value when you can solve someone's pain, problem, or challenge. And we often don't value ourselves especially our skills, because it comes naturally to us. I can do this easily, but for someone else it's difficult. And so we have to honor what's unique for us and give that to the world, because right now I believe the world is waiting for you. The world is waiting for your unique gifts, that dream, that vision, that voice, that art, that book you want to write. No one on this planet can say it or create it or do it in quite the way that you can do it.
So you need to turn that light on.
Turn it on. Yourself with yourself.
That's right. There's only one you.
There's only one,
Oh my God, super inspired this Monday morning. My God, thank you so much, Kute Blackson, for coming to this morning. Best way to start the week. Make sure you go to alllightson.com. So this Thursday you hear everything is said and more, because you'll have more time.